Notts County Talk, welcome back to the channel. It is another Thursday, which means episode 177 of the Pavis Perspective. It's the Cambridge preview. The first time we've done a Cambridge preview in all 177 episodes, Jordan. So an interesting one. Have you been to Cambridge away?
I have not. Would like to do it if we can.
Yeah, I'd like to go to it. Obviously, you would have seen if you watched the Swindon video. I took my wife to Swindon. I think she's got her eye on Cambridge as well, with it being a nice place and all. But you come first, don't you, George? You and George come first.
I thought we was getting a hotel room together and having a nice day away. But
can do whatever you want. Well, because everyone that's joined us, regular viewers, and a lot of channel members that are joining us. Let us know your thoughts. We're going to chat Cambridge in a second. As always, get a question in for our opposition fan. If you are listening back on Spotify, please do drop us that 5-star review. And a massive thank you to everyone that did vote for us in the Football Content Awards. That is on the 20th of November. We're, of course, only of course, I've told you so many times. We are in the category of Best EFL Podcast, along with some massive podcasts as well. So thank you so much for that. If you have already seen, as well at the start, use a code Pavis Perspective if you do choose to visit Better Bytes computer repair shop in Manchester. Had a few messages this week about things they can offer. So yeah, go in, chat to Kev and he'll be able to sort you out if you need refurbished computers or indeed you need computer repairs. Kev is running off for at the minute. So use that code Pavis Perspective and he will sort you out. Ian says, bit of a bromance going on here tonight. Well, would you say, George, that you're sort of above George?
I don't know.
The quality that you can give to the show.
Takes a lot to knock him off, though, doesn't it? So I'm not quite sure if I'm at that point yet, but keep striving away. Keep trying to emulate my game on his.
Yeah, Ian says, has George been put on the subs bench? Yes, he has. 100% on that subs bench, the Irish subs bench. Right, let's chat Cambridge then. So, as you all know, we always look for opposition fans. Only Oldham this season have let us down. Cambridge have not. Jules, how are we?
Really good. It's funny, Oldham let us down as well. The only team to let us down. Where are all these Oldham fans?
Well, to be fair, we had an Oldham fan, and then later on that night, I got a message saying they'd completely forgotten. So,
same thing happened to us. They're mugging us all
really?
off. Yeah, genuinely, I'm not joking.
We've had years looking for certain fans. I mean, I think we even got an Accrington fan this year, didn't we, George?
We did, which is a surprise. We don't normally get one, do we?
No. We don't. But if you've got a question for Jules, put it in the comments. I know one of the questions that's going to come because we get this every single week for our opposition fan. But first of all, Cambridge have come down from League One. What are the expectations this season, or what were your expectations before a ball was kicked?
I think it's a funny relegation, isn't it? Because I remember hearing this stat, which I'll butcher now, but I think Vale were the first team to bounce straight back up from League Two to League One for something like 6 or 7 seasons or something like that. It's not a relegation that clubs seem to recover from very well. I think maybe because League One's such a split of a division with so many big fishes that you end up losing even more so than other relegations. You lose so many games. Turning a club around is really hard. And you see like Crawley, Shrewsbury, and even Bristol Rovers down in 17th now, aren't they, or somewhere like that. It's hard kind of getting used to life back in the 4th tier. So my expectations were nothing much, to be honest. I kind of thought we'd have a little pop at the playoffs at some point, and I thought we just wouldn't quite be good enough. I was pretty convinced with Neil Harris in charge, our floor would be pretty high. I thought we weren't. Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that I don't think we'll go down again. And even pre-season, I was pretty sure that we were good enough to be bottom end of mid-table at worst. It's just I wasn't convinced that we had a particularly high ceiling. Which is probably again, bottom edge of the playoffs. So kind of where we're knocking around now is kind of what I expected. So yeah, that was what we thought.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm sorry. I've just seen someone just sent me a message of Porto fans leaving Notts County's ground with flares everywhere. I told you we chatted earlier, didn't we, about Notts have built their own fan zone. There's literally Porto fans leaving to go to the Forest games. Quite incredible to see. But that caught my eye. Ian's just asked a question. So, are you enjoying life back in League Two? Obviously, a relegation can hurt, and we can see what it can do to teams. But just are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying the unpredictability of it. Yeah, I mean, especially the last couple of seasons in League One, it was kind of brutal. Like, obviously, we ended up eventually going down as Ali from Not the Top 20 has got a good term for it, which is like a gravitational relegation. Like, it's going to happen at some point. You're just kind of staving off the inevitable. We're never growing enough. we're not selling on players for a high enough fee to be able to sustainably keep our squad going in League One. So you kind of knew what you were getting, like the amount of shocks. I mean, we went to like Huddersfield and won last season, but apart from that, everything's a bit predictable because you're playing like Birmingham City, Bolton, teams that have just got, budgets that just dwarf ours. And what I quite like about League Two, which I think I'll grow tired of in the next couple of months, just anyone can beat anyone. I just love the unpredictability of it. Like you look across the card every weekend, look at like Swindon Accrington last weekend. You go, Swindon have started so well and they go get beat 4-0 at Accrington. And it's like, I honestly feel like people always say the Championship's like the most unpredictable league, but I think League Two is just a whole other beast. But I'm kind of loving it for that. But when we like inevitably go to, I don't know, like Harrogate and lose 3-0 on a cold Tuesday or something, I won't love it quite so much.
Yeah, we went to Harrogate and lost 3-1 in December when we were
There
supposed to storm the league after we got promoted with Wrexham. And yeah, it was very, very humbling. Yeah, I think you're right. I think one thing is that I think last season I may have got kind of sucked into this of thinking the league's just poor quality because everyone was beating everyone. But I'm not sure it is. I think it is just the quality. There's some really, really good teams in here. Like some of the football you see playing. I think even Swindon played some pretty decent football against us the other night. Who's been your toughest test so far?
Good question. I think one thing about our start is I'm not really sure we've played anyone particularly good yet. I'd maybe say, I mean, Grimsby, we got a good point up at Blundell Park, but I'm not sure they really played particularly well that day. I think we actually set up really well to stifle them. That's probably the best we've played away from home all season. We played Swindon early in the season. Again, we kind of gifted them 3 goals. I wasn't massively like blown away by them. But I'd probably say Oldham were the shout. I think when they beat us at the Abbey at the start of September, and I'm pretty sure at that point they were like 14th or 15th, but they had like the highest XG and like all the underlying numbers were saying it's ready to click. And they just signed Mickey Mellon on deadline day and he scored on his debut for his dad, obviously. And I just thought they had a proper good game plan. They fully deserved all 3 points on the day. And they kind of surprised me a little bit, I guess, because you're just looking at the league table and thinking, well, they're not quite putting away their chances. Maybe there's an opportunity here, but on that day, I thought they were the best team we've seen so far.
How do you think your away form has been so far this season? I've seen that you've only picked up one away win, and it was against Colchester really early on. What have you made of the performances so far?
Well, we're a really weird team. Like we've got the best home form in the league. I think we've won 5 at home, drawn 1, and then lost to Oldham. They're the only team that's beat us at home. That draw was against Harrogate, by the way, which was I'm not sure how we didn't win that game. And then, away from home, it's just been a disaster, really. We've got the 20th best away form, like 20th worst. Below us is only like Accrington, Shrewsbury, Crawley, and Cheltenham, I think. So, like, that's where our big problems are at the moment. And it's it kind of just speaks to our like general inconsistency. We haven't put 2 of the same result together back to back in the league so far yet. 2 losses, 2 draws, 2 wins, nothing. It reads like win, draw, loss, win, draw, loss, win, draw, loss, basically the whole way through. So it's kind of frustrating because, well, you can look at it 2 ways, right? It's like you're not winning back-to-back games, so I'm not sure we're going to climb particularly quick. We're also not losing back-to-back games. Every time we played poorly, we bounce back really well. So I guess it's the sort of thing where it's like, if it clicks, if you want to be an optimist and you can figure that away form out, figure out a bit of a formula, put a few back-to-back wins together, things might start to look rosy. But I think we've had the opportunity to do that a few times. We've not had a tough fixture list. We lost at Shrewsbury, drew at Tranmere. Like, I think we should have kind of at this stage might have started seeing it by now. So I think we're just a bit of a weird team like that, basically.
Yeah. At the start of the season, well, in pre-season, really, MK Dons just started to sign players like Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, Kane Wilson, and they were like blowing teams away with the quality of players they were signing. And then you caught my eye with Pelly Ruddock and Panzu, who are less than 3 years ago was playing in the Premier League. And on paper, that signing is ridiculous. And I still don't know if there's any backstory behind it or whatever. Is it as good a signing as it looks on paper?
I would say he is growing into the league or like the season, let's say. I mean, just on that point, when we'd signed him in July, the April before, so what's that, 14, 15 months, whatever it is, 16 months, he'd started at Spurs in the league. So like to have gone from there to League Two, and it's not like an injury thing. In the middle of that, he played at Rotherham in League One and played every single minute. So really reliable in that respect. I think it was a Harris factor. We did a podcast with our new director of football, Mark Bonner, who people might know who was our manager last time we went up from League 2 to League 1. A bit of a strange double appointment. And he was telling us that they just pitched. I'm sure he's definitely on an absolute wedge by our standards. And I think it was just the pitch, a bit of a project type thing. And to answer your question, the kind of asterisk on it is that by all accounts, he didn't have like any sort of pre-season. Like he literally just stopped like running, stopped doing all his fitness because he was out of a club. Which I don't know. It is. I don't know the inner workings of it, but a bit of me goes, well, I mean, keep your running up. He came on the first game of the season against Cheltenham at home. I've never seen a player so unfit in my life. Honest to God, like 10 minutes left of the game, and he was like, he literally couldn't get to the ball quick enough. It was like, is this the same player that I've just watched on TV last year? And like slowly, he's like growing into it. I think it's a shame with him because he's that name, he's eye catching. He's got a weight of expectation on him that people sort of expect so much from him, which is kind of a shame because I think he's put in some decent performances. He's not like the sort of player that's going to go and score like every week. He's just a consistent performer who like raises the floor of your squad type thing. So yeah, he's growing into life, I would say.
Yeah, I know you've got to get going. I've got two very quick questions before a score prediction, so answer them as quickly as you want. The first one is a regular question from Adam that says, "What's your favourite away day and your least favourite in League 2?" You don't have to have done them this season. Are there any you've done previously?
Yeah, I've done almost all of them actually. I mean, it sounds like I'm saying it just because I'm on this pod, but it's definitely not.
I get that quite a lot.
Yeah, it's 100% Notts. It was always used to be Notts or Orient when Orient were in League 2. Last time we were here, they were always the best two. Always got a soft spot for Crawley, which is weird. There's a pub just round the corner. You know that one up the road called like the New Moon.
I've been ticking Crawley off this year. I've never done Crawley.
Yeah, well, there's this. It's not. Look, don't. I'm not. I think it's one of those that. I mean, it's a terrible ground, and it's like not that near the station or anything like that. We just seem to have always had like some quite good days out there. And the other one I'll shout out that I love is Crewe. Just such an easy one, like on the train from London for all of us. Always bring a decent number. It's like station pub ground within about a 2-minute walk, all over that. So yeah, not
Crewe for us.
Hell for us.
Really.
So first year back in, we conceded like a 92nd minute penalty and lost. The following dodgy as well. The following year, we conceded like an 80th minute penalty, dodgy, and lost. And then both of us went about 3 weeks ago. We conceded a 90th minute penalty and lost. So I can't stand Crewe. But yeah, I know what you mean. Great to get there. And final question from Ian is, how do you do against teams that try to play rather than bully you? Because that'll be it.
So this is I just saw this question come up, and I was hoping you'd ask me because this is kind of. If I'm being positive about Saturday, this is the reason I'm being positive. Neil Harris sets teams up, is really good at setting teams up to not have the ball. The reason we've struggled when we sometimes play teams like Tranmere away, Shrewsbury away, is we don't want to have the ball. And obviously they don't want to have the ball. So we drew 0-0 at Tranmere. I've never seen a game like it. Like no one was interested in playing football that afternoon. Which for us is frustrating because you think we've got like Pelly, Ruddock and Panzer and like Don Ball playing and stuff. And you think we're good enough to go and if you set out to go win this game, you're easily good enough to win it. But the flip side of that is we go to Grimsby and we set up like that. We score on the break and we were brilliant second half up until we conceded like a 96th minute penalty, which, I mean, it was a pen, but we were brilliant without the ball. And like if teams trying to play against us, I think Harris is really good at setting up really deep, really low, and then playing on the break. So for me, it's kind of a theory we've got that Harris quite enjoys, like, we'd be a better side at the bottom end of League One with Harris than a side that's like trying to play football in League Two, if that makes sense. Just because we went to Fulham in the Carabao Cup, for example, and only lost 1-0, but they'd started Jimenez and like Smith Rowe and everyone. And we played this really low block and we just soaked up all this pressure and Harris teams just seem to love it. So it's a little theory I've got that I think if we get something on Saturday, I think it'll be tight. And I mean, I'll answer your prediction question now. I think it'll be 1-1, but I think we might go 1-up and hold on to it for a long time, and you might nab something late in the game, a bit like that Grimsby game.
Yeah, we used to just play football and get bullied by everyone, regardless. Patterson this year, his personality, I kind of think has helped us. We don't get bullied as much anymore. But it'll be a really interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good one. But I know you've got to get out, Jules. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And enjoy the game on Saturday.
Yeah, enjoy. Thanks for having me, lads.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
1-1. I chatted to Jules earlier for the Abbey pod. And I said again, this might be controversial. I said if I walked away from that game and we'd drawn, it would not be the end of the world. Definitely wouldn't. And when I say not be the end of the world, I mean I want to win the game, but I don't think it'd be that bad. And people can get at me at that. I think the longer we go without racking up losses, I think is good for us. I
think if we was away, I'd agree with you. But just because of our home form versus their away form, I feel like we should be winning it.
Yeah, true. But I mean, and from another perspective, if we don't lose that game, it'll take it to 4 unbeaten, and it'll take it to 1 loss in 6, which would be fantastic. But we'll see. Another top fanian says, top guest. They have been great this season, apart from the Oldham guest. But I think they might be joining us soon. I'm not sure. They'll probably just pop up on a random show. They will just pop up. Callum says, kind Jordan in, no tech issues. Kind Jordan in. I noticed a lovely comment on another video you did, Jordan. It might have been Friday's video. Did you do
thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go. How did you do on your predictions? You did really, really well, didn't you?
Me, I actually haven't looked back over them, which is a bit of a. I know that's bad, but how many did you look at them?
No, I didn't.
So I've got more right then, basically.
But basically, right, and I'm really impressed with this. Just tell people about the EFL Fantasy League.
So I have just gone top of the Notts County Talk League.
Wow. That's not the most impressive thing.
What? Because you told me to put.
No. But where, in terms of where are you in terms of the whole league?
Now I think in terms of the whole EFL Fantasy, I'm 120th, and in League 2, Notts County League, I'm 5th. I'm not sure where I am League 2, but yeah, overall 120th.
There's thousands and thousands of people. Do you put many Notts players in?
No, I do not. No. No.
Who's your? I know. Can I tell everyone your secret weapon? It's Brandon Thomas Asante, and captain him in a double game.
I got 52 points, I think, from him. Just gone. I have selected Notts as a club though. I think this weekend.
Yeah, I honestly, right. I'm just learning off you. I'm learning off you. Adam says, "Can we join the Notts County Talk League?" I think you still can. I think you still can join, even though
I'm winning it, so I'm not too sure if you want to join. But I mean,
I'm only like 110 points behind you, and that I'm going to get this week because I'm going to select Nick Cerula and put him in. No, but you're doing well, and
thank you for the shout out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that because it's class. It's class from you. We went to Barnet together, didn't we, on Saturday?
We did. Indeed.
Wow.
Interesting game.
What an away end at the end, though. We will talk more about Swindon than Barnet, but we don't win games like that in the last few years ever.
I can't remember one for a long time. I think someone brought up a stat of when it was. I think it was like 2018 or something, maybe. I don't know. Or that long ago, I think.
It was Grimsby away. I think it might have been 21. But that's how long it feels. Yeah, I was there with Jake, and it was Ruben Rodriguez last minute.
Yeah. Of course it was.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some of your comments. What trophy will Jordan be getting for winning the league? Honorary member of Notts County Talk. Every time he comes on, he'll have like a halo above his head. So
I have that already, don't I?
No. Not quite. Okay. So I thought that was an incredible win, incredible feeling. It's one of those games where if you'd have had 3 minutes at a time, right, we'll never, ever remember that game ever again. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell you what happened in the game, really, other than a really good Roos save and us hitting the bar, but that's it.
Yeah.
But that was incredible. Like the way he took the ball, so calm and put it away. That's what you're learning. That's what you learn at Prem Academy level, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the goal, just the way the game was, and how he scored so late on, it just made it feel even more sweeter, that victory.
Yeah.
I know we had to endure quite a tough 90 minutes to watch. Really, we didn't really create much, but yeah, it just made it feel even more better to know that we won in that way. And then the Barnet fans were going home so disappointed.
They were fuming. James says, "Doesn't honorary member mean he's not a real member? He doesn't have a contract. He's on he's not on an actual contract with us. So I guess that kind of means honorary member. Yeah, only Jake and Will and Ben are on contracts. Jordan's not, but you've bought it up now, so he probably is going to be asking for one.
It's because I'm freelance, because I'm so big, So
yeah, exactly. He's got his own podcast. Yeah, it's an EFL fantasy podcast.
I should do one after this season if it goes well.
If you win it next season, if you win it this season, what a platform that would be.
Yeah, it would be a good platform.
Pythagoras says we lost so many second balls at Barnet. Right, my take on that is that I didn't see Robbo or Palmer have really any opportunity to make any passes in that middle. Do you remember the passage of play on Saturday against Barnet when there was about 11 headers in a row?
Yeah.
For a pitch that had Cerula, Jody, Carnu on, who are wanting to hug that touchline. I know Jody likes to cut in, but he does like to receive the ball out on the touchline. There was no width to the whole game.
It must be one of the most narrowest pitches in the league. I think a lot of pitches in the league are quite small, to be fair. And I think the way they kind of lined up, they line the defence up so high that it just squashes everything. And even trying to make a pass, you can't make a pass without someone being on you at every second.
No, you're right. It was a frustrating game, and Roos does make a massive save in the first half, and he does make a decent save in the second half as well from a long distance effort. But I actually don't mind seeing us win games like that. Like I will just happily see us win a game like that, soak up some pressure, have a bit of luck, and just go and win it, because that's what wins you. That's what wins you things like promotions, basically. The poll question today is: do you think Notts can actually achieve or fight for their automatic promotion places? And you might think, well, that's a bit of an odd question. But you remember at the start of the season, I had us down in a prediction, and Jordan was on here as well. And we both said we could finish. I think Jordan said we could finish as low as like 13th, and I said as low as 17th. So people are now putting us in, and we'll tell you what we voted in a minute. People are now putting us in that if people genuinely we can fight for automatic, then it shows what a transformation over 12, 13 games. I think
the ceiling I had though was third, so I'll just put that out there. I do think we can still do
mine
it.
wasn't. I think mine was 9th.
Yeah, yours was.
I said 9th to 17th, and in my preseason predictions, I had us mid-table as well. Did you have a sneak in a playoff place?
Yeah, I think I had as high as third. So I think we could still do it, especially looking at the table. League Two, the teams from like 1st to 9th or 10th are all within touching distance of each other until like quite late on in the season. It happened last season. I feel like it will happen again this season. You just have a massive kind of fall off after a certain point, but I think like there's enough good, strong, like the teams in this league are strong enough, I think, to all be in with a shout with the last like 10 games to go. I agree. The league for me feels more interesting than last year. Maybe that's because of the football we're playing, but like, I don't know. I'm excited to play teams like Cambridge. I'm excited to play Bristol Rovers, and I don't know. It's just interesting. This is actually quite incredible. 27 months of membership. If my maths are correct, that's a bit more than 2 years. That's some dedication, Callum. So I appreciate that massively. Thank you also to all our other channel members as well. Massively appreciate it. And couldn't actually do what we do without your support. So thank you so much. I saw someone say, George, if you win, you need a hand dryer shaped trophy. Fair enough. Fair enough. But that got me thinking. And you remember, maybe a month ago, we were encouraging people to take, we were sort of talking about the temperature of the water in the Pavis stand. Insanely
insanely hot. Insanely hot.
Nearly as hot as.
Well, thank you. Very, very, very hot water, right? And it was a joke that someone needs to test it with the thermometers. And, we've got a really good community here, but no one's realistically going to go into the Pavis stand with a thermometer. Except they did. And we're going to see now firsthand. Jay Levers, I don't know if he's watching live, but he will be watching it back. This is quite extraordinary footage gained from the Pavis stand. Technique's good. Look at that, 50, 52, 55. It's not going to go more than 55, is it, George?
I think it might.
58. Wow. That is sensational. That is sensational. And Callum says, this is why we subscribe. Anyone else wants to test a different stand for us, we'll put it on the show. We'll put it on the show. 58, George. If that's not that's promotion winning temperature.
We might get a cease and delete soon from the club.
Nah. No. Well, I mean, it's better than being cold, isn't it?
Well,
Coming to winter. That is fair play. So Jay Levers, Milkman says that was a meat thermometer. Look, we didn't film it. And any thermometer will do. That's dedication to the cause, to be fair. That's dedication. It's given us content as well. So we did share it. We shared it with his blessing. So thank you for that. And if you're not watching live, comment that it was your video. We'll give it as many likes as we possibly can. And yeah, test the other stands. We've got an away fan in here. Test.
We could have a league table going of all the teams in the league. What's your temperature for the taps?
Yeah, exactly. Couple of comments. Andy says slight concern is our two wide players are having a little impact. We're going to go on to talk about that in a second after the Swindon game, Andy. So definitely be saying that. Essie says, are you backing Roos now, Tom? Noticed you didn't mention my comment earlier. I didn't see your comment, but am I backing Roos? No, I'm not backing Roos. I thought he had a really good game against Barnet. I thought he made a good save against Swindon, but I'm not. I think we need a new goalkeeper, and I'll get behind him as long as he's in goal or try to. But I mean, I just think we need a new goalkeeper. And if it wasn't the Roos in goal, if it was a situation with a striker that would not score at all, I'd be saying we need a new striker. So if it was, a defender that kept making mistakes, I'd say the same thing. But no, I'm not backing him to be our first choice keeper for the season. Definitely not. But signs of improvement. If he, there he is. Look at that. That's top content. If he continued to play like he did in the last couple of games for maybe 6, 7, 8 games, I would happily eat my words and back him. If I see consistent like 8, 9, 10 games, then.
A good question is, does he play better away from home without the home crowd?
Maybe. That save was excellent against Barnet. Excellent. Yeah. STFC, KU says, where do you think you'll finish at the end of the season? I'm assuming, a Swindon fan, I'm saying we'll probably finish Champions League places, I think. Maybe. No, I don't know, actually. I don't know. I need to see another 5 or 6 games. I don't know where you think Swindon will finish, because I was actually quite impressed with with some of the football you played, to be fair. But yeah, there we go. I don't know where we'll finish. Going on to that game then, George. Are you happy with I'd have taken a point before, but are you unhappy with the final result?
I wouldn't say unhappy, a bit disappointed to be leading twice and looking like we was in a good position to kind of continue with how he was playing. I did think they got a bit lucky with the deflection that led into the path for the player that got the assist. But you would argue that they put up enough pressure on us, maybe that they felt a draw was fair. But we've shown that we can sustain, put up with pressure and not concede in the last 2 games, apart from, obviously, I know we did concede, but I know that makes it a bit silly comment. But, I mean, in terms of the pressure that we got, I think the goals came from kind of nothing. It wasn't like sustained pressure or where there was moments where we thought they was going to score. They kind of came from moments that you would expect them not to score from. I know that makes not too much sense in a way, but like I think our defending for the first goal wasn't good enough. I think there was some ball watching. You can't let a player run that far and like go into your box untouched and untackled. But yeah, I think we could have done things better. I think if we was playing a team that wasn't Swindon and we drew and lost it and lost the lead twice, we'd be sitting here with a different mindset. I think because it's Swindon, you kind of take it with a bit of a pinch of salt.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed the performance. To score early on is really good, but to lose the lead twice, could you imagine being sat here and we've won both games? We'd be sat in 5th, I think, which would be excellent. But we can't complain. I think could easily have, and not because I think we're poor, but you could easily have come and sat on here and we got 0 points because you've gone away to 2 good sides. Like Swindon are a good side despite losing 4-0 to Accrington. There was a red card in there, and Barnet are good at home. So I think 4 points is excellent.
Especially considering our away form going into those 2 games. I think they're 2 massive results when you look at can we do it away from home, and I think that proved that we have enough to get points away.
Yeah, I agree. Let's have a look. Ian says ref was awful Tuesday. Yeah, he was really poor. I felt like he didn't want the game to get away from him before anything had even happened. Holloway said that we bought lots of free kicks. I don't know where he got that from. We have more fouls than them. Also, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but why Dennis is given a foul against him just before their second goal, I have no idea. I have no idea why, which really does like blow my mind that people that someone's watched that and given a free kick for what? And then he points to Dennis and points to like 3 or 4 areas of the pitch. I'm thinking Dennis hasn't even done anything on any other area of the pitch. So, but I mean, there's a bit of a phase of play after that, so it's not directly caused the goal, has it? But it's frustrating because I think we probably could have seen it out personally.
2 of the goals were sloppy. I think you mentioned around Dennis there. It was frustrating, and I mentioned this in the chat at the time, that he's messing around with his boots and not getting goal side, and it allows the keeper to pass it out. If Dennis gets back and picks up that space, that doesn't happen. I think the keeper has to go long. And I think Patterson actually mentioned it in his press conference as well about getting reset. And I think that's probably what he was alluding to. So it's just frustrating, I think. But in terms of the performance overall, it was a good performance. And the Barnet referee was just as bad as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, poor. Again, the same kind of thing, just not wanting to get the game. Essie said Tom will speak about Roos next week. If you can keep playing and changing my mind, then I'm happy to chat about him. He needs to have a pretty flawless run till January, I think, to not have someone coming in to replace him. Jordan, I can't believe I'm saying this about 2 players that I really like. One of them I really like. But do we have, and it's already been put in, I think, by Andy, do we have an issue with Jody Jones, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, Nick Cerula at the moment? They're just not involved.
I think Jody Jones at home, a wing back, probably is allowed to be more attacking. But away from home, I think it's probably difficult for him to get into games. That showed at Barnet and it showed at Swindon. But I think if he was to start wing back at the weekend and Cambridge sit a bit deeper, I think it'll give him a bit more space and time, and he'll be able to take advantage of that. But yeah, for away games, I don't know if him as a player, like his style and kind of the attacking threat, gets a bit nullified.
What about Cerula?
Cerula, I think, could have done better for the Swindon goals. Was he on the pitch second? Oh yeah, I think I'm not too sure. But the first one, looking at the replay in slow motion, I think he's just left in no man's land. Whether he doesn't know whether to get stuck in and compete or whether to pick up a man. And it was a bit frustrating to watch because we praise Nick Cerula all the time on this channel. He's had a great run of games as well, but we've not really got much depth there either. I know Bennett has been coming on a little bit. Good to see him in the squad, really. But obviously Gordon was injured and Cotter's not really been up to the standard that we expected. So I think we do have a bit of a problem there in terms of depth. If it's not quite working with one player, if we have to switch up the style or the way that we approach a game, I don't think we have those options at the moment.
Yeah, without delving into it, I think Carter's going to be gone in January. I think I don't see any reason why he's going to be using up a spot. But yeah, it makes me think. The thing that frustrates me is, right, I think we've got it really good in terms of the centre midfield pairings. Great, really good. I like how we're doing attacking midfield wise. A striker, fine. We've got Jata who scored, albeit with a little bit of a deflection, and we've got Dennis who comes off the bench that scored a lot. The defensive three, I'm pretty happy with. So you don't want to change things too much because, like, the spine of the team's working, but you're losing two good attacking outlets in Cerula and Jody if they're not getting involved. I wonder, and we're going to talk about our teams. I wonder whether we change both for the home game against Cambridge, or whether that's completely ridiculous and we keep both, or just make one change. We'll see. We'll chat about it in a minute. The other thing is, I got a little bit of people. A few people disagreeing with me about. I gave Grant our man of the match on Tuesday. I mean, he got an assist and a goal. I think he played well, and people. I know what you're going to say. He loses players defensively, but he's playing as an attacking midfielder. He got basically, and he created the goal against Barnet by taking his man on. And I thought he carried the ball really, really well on Tuesday night.
Yeah, Swindon was one of his better games, and his output was better in terms of his kind of final ball and what he gets from his play actually resulted in an assist and a goal. So, and I've been saying that on the channel for the past few weeks, that he's been getting in those positions and making good play, but it's to a point where he actually has to start producing, and he has done that in the past two games. So you can't really knock that, and obviously he's proving me wrong there. I think it's just consistency. If he can consistently perform at that level and get the output, he'd make an argument for starting, I think, more often.
Yeah, I think he was really good. And look, he's not like a world-beating League Two player right now, but he's definitely made some improvements under Patterson, I think. Yeah, 3 goal involvements in the last 2 matches, says Adam. Yeah, I agree. Let's look at the lineup then. That's not the lineup we're going for. We're not going for that lineup. I mean, we're not playing 7 aside, but this is where we're a little bit confused, aren't we, George? So we're going to have a bit of a discussion here. Palmer and Robbo sit here. You can see the pitch, can't you, Geordie?
Yeah, I can.
So, do you play Jones? I'm going to give you that call. Do you play Jones?
For this game at home, I think you do, yes.
Okay, let's stick Jones in. Do you have Nick Cerulli on the other side, or do you go for Bennett or Kuyar?
I would still stick with Cerula if he's fit. I don't know if maybe his performance last game was to do with maybe he was a bit jaded, because we played quite a lot of football recently, haven't we? And I think Patterson also mentioned that as well. And I think you could tell, I think for parts of the game, we did look a bit lethargic at times in some of the play. And we know in the past that he's not really played loads of football over the past couple of seasons. I know this is probably the most he's played consistently for a while, isn't it? In terms of what we're seeing at the moment, like league season games and stuff like that, he's normally off every couple of games. I think though this game, I think you go with the same lineup.
At home, you're sticking with the same wing backs. Fine. I'm going to put Grant in. I think Grant starts. What would you say?
I think, actually, I agree with that. And then see how the game plays out. But I do think Pender, he kind of sets the tone quite well sometimes, and then you can kind of see from there. I do like Grant maybe coming off the bench and influencing things in that way. So I'm not 100% sold on starting Grant, but I can see why you might, given the last 2 performances. And if the Cambridge Guest is anything to go by, if they sit a bit deep, his movement might be able to unlock them a bit.
I'll put Hall in there as well, because we're not going to debate that one, are we?
Not one bit.
So we're sticking with the same lineup. If it was me, I know this is our joint team, I might have taken Nick Cerula out and had maybe Kuya or Bennett in just to see. I think it's less risky away from home. At home than away from home. Grant has to be, and I know what you mean about Eorpenda, but I think that's the lineup, isn't it? That's the lineup we're going to go with for this one. It's an interesting one. Very, very interesting.
I do want to mention in the Swindon game, it was the first game for a while that I thought Bedu and McDonald looked a bit not as good as they have been recently, and I think they both were kind of at each other debating who was at fault for the first goal. I think it was their first game for a while where they didn't look as comfortable. Hopefully that was just a blip. And they get back to how they've been playing.
Someone said that even we've omitted Jarvis from the bench. The bench is not that's not how this app works. I mean, there's Hinchy on the bench and Platt who's injured and Gordon who's injured. So it's just the app just puts players in there. But someone said as well that Grant misses more than he scores. The other thing I would say is so does Jatta. And I think that's why they're in League Two. Pure, plain and simple. If Jatta put away the chances that he misses, last season, I know that you can say it's about most strikers, but last season he would have been on like 30-something goals and he would be a champion. Well, not a championship player because Plymouth went down, but he'd be at the top end of League One, definitely. And if Grant put away his chances, would be in League One because we'd have swept Wimbledon aside in the playoffs. So, I mean, and then would have had the playoff final, but let's pretend that wouldn't be the case. Anyway. So there we go. Right, let's go with the poll question. I think you're going to be quite interested in this, George. 117 votes. Do you believe, not think, do you actually believe that Notts can compete for the automatic spots? 71% of people say yes. 16 say no, and 13 are still unsure. What do you think?
I'm probably teetering between unsure and yes. Want to see a bit more sample of games. I know we're getting quite far in, but in terms of our new performances, how we've been playing recently and how we've been improving, I want to see if that's consistent and sustainable before I decide if I believe we'll be mounting a promotion push.
Yeah, I think it's so difficult. Before I commit to saying yes, I need to see how we deal with the inevitable League Two game that every single side gets, no matter how good they are, when all of a sudden they lose to someone in the bottom 3 or 4, like 3-0. How are we going to react to that? How are we going to react if on Monday the 10th of November, I think it is, we go to Cheltenham and we lose 3-0? How do we react then? That's what I need to see. And I'm not saying I want to see us lose 3-0, but it does happen in this league. Look at some of the results in the last few years that are just crazy and out of absolutely nowhere.
Steve Cottrell on his return.
There you go. I am with you. I'm between yes and unsure. I'm not a firm no, but we are only like 12 or 13 games in, and I need to be able to see that we can actually bounce back from because you could say, well, we didn't start the season very well, yeah, but we had no success before the start of the season, so it's not like we were playing well and then dropped off and then came back. We just start. It's like, there was no need to pick ourselves back up. So it'll be interesting.
I know it's quite cliche and easy to. I mean, it makes it a bit more easier. But once we've played everyone once or Christmas, I think we'll see. I think the winter period is quite defining for a lot of teams. So I know it's a bit of a cop out to say, "Oh, we'll wait till Christmas," when half the games have been played to see if we'll get a promotion push. But I think that realistically is where I will know what kind of we have in us to go on and for the second half of the season and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't played MK, we haven't played Chesterfield, we haven't played Walsall, we haven't played Grimsby, we've played Salford and lost. So, You know,
still a lot of big teams to play.
Massive as well. So, yeah, interesting. Colchester are coming up as well, aren't they? Bristol Rovers, I think, will be better later on in the season. So it'll be interesting. But before we go, George, what's your score prediction? I'm just going to put it out there. I said when I was chatting to Jules earlier, I said I think Notts might nick a 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very close. It has kind of 1-1 written all over it, really, by the sounds of it, in terms of styles of play. But I do think with our home form, if we get an early goal, I can't see Cambridge getting back into it the way it sounds like they play. So 2-1, and I think we're 2-0 up at half time.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go 2-1. Let's see what people are saying very quickly. Mark says 3-1 Notts, Hall, Sarula, Makari in any order. Rob says 0-0. Wouldn't be the worst. We've got 2-1, says Julie. We've got 6-0, Grant hat-trick, Dennis, Brace, Jatta 1-yard tap-in. A goal's a goal. Another Desmond. We've got a 2-1 Notts, Hall and Grant. We've got 4-2 Notts. We've got a 2-0 win. Chris says 2-0, Jatta and Robbo. Steve says Notts 2, Cambridge 1. I mean, this is League 2. We could lose 3-0. Like, and I know that I can say that about any league, but this league, like Jules said, is just so unpredictable.
They did lose to Shrewsbury 2-0 away not long ago. So false hope or some form of idea of how it's going to go, I'm not sure.
I do think we are so much more set up for a team that wants to come and sit in now, though.
Yeah.
Like, I do think we are. Last year, I'd have been like, great, no chance, because they're just going to hit us on the break with their 20% possession and score 2 goals. But it's not going to happen like that for the majority of this season, I don't think. I think we're a little bit more well-equipped. We've also got a bit of a poacher in there, I feel like Dennis, who can come on the pitch and do something.
We're a lot more balanced this season, I think.
100%. I'm going to say one of my goal scorers is going to be Rob McDonald. Bullet header. Bullet. Straight in. Jordan, what I want you to do over the next week, I want you to keep ticking along in your fantasy EFL. Yeah, I want you to keep your chin up, keep doing that. Okay, I'm going to give you a tip for this week. You're going to add Hall in, you're going to captain him. Okay? That's going to be it. I think it's going to work.
I've got this far without as much advice from you as possible, so...
Fair enough. When we revisit this in Feb and I'm 100 points ahead of you, I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna show it you, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, please, who shall I put in my team? Who shall I put in my team?" And I'll be telling you. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. If you are a Cambridge fan and you've watched this, safe travels up to Nottingham on Saturday. Let's hope for a victory. It's going to be a tough game, but they're all tough games in this league. I'm interested to see how and Panzu does for them. The anagram player, Tim, that nobody got tonight. Nobody got Blooming Nest. You've just reminded me I think it's the first time no one's got it. Montel Gibson. Oh, nobody got it. Someone's going to find and say it's spelt wrong, but I don't think it is. Mitch says 3-2 Notts as well. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, leave a like because you got to see Jordan on this lovely cold Thursday evening.